This isn't me telling you how to practice. This is me giving you suggestions, and a start point. Where you take it is completely up to you.
Hey everybody, Normal Wiccan here. Today we're gonna go ahead and cover prosperity spells. First thing I'm gonna do is explain some of the basics to prosperity. Explain how you would make your own prosperity spell. Then I'm gonna give you an example of the a prosperity spell. Um, so if you want, I'll go ahead and insert the time that I actually give out the prosperity spell for those people that just want to skip ahead. But it's a lot of really good information. So I definitely recommend just understanding how it all works. And another good thing too is this. A lot of these things can be covered or can apply to pretty much any subject. So the way that it works, prosperity, fertility, protection's a little bit different, but not a whole lot. Um, and you can use this formula to pretty much make a spell for close to anything. So the first thing to understand is what element prosperity is under. Because once you understand what element it's under, you start getting a general basis of how it's going to work. So, for example, you've got prosperity is actually under the element of earth. So, one thing that you can expect is there's going to be a whole lot of green on your altar, between the candles, the materials, things along those lines. Again, protection's a little bit different, but I mean, fertility is, granted, fertility kind of has its own element, but at the same time, or its own set of colors and stuff like that. But at the same time, fertility a lot of times is either under water or earth, and the things that you're going to use are going to be designated by those things. Um, okay, so let's go on with prosperity. So one thing to remember, if you are very big into the phases of the moon, time of year, if you have that luxury, I guess would be the way to put it. Because let's be honest, you lose your job, you need a prosperity spell. You're not going to wait until spring to cast a prosperity spell if you're in the middle of summer and you're jobless. But it can help. So, my general recommendation is unless you are financially secure and stable, um, it's spring. Cast a prosperity spell. It can't hurt. So, the time of year is spring, because it's generally when things start growing. And that's kind of the way that you want to look at it is increase, abundance, things growing. Yes, everybody loves you and they think you're adorable. And it's the same thing with the moon as well. So the new moon is when you don't see any of the moon. And then you start at the first quarter, you've got basically the first sliver until the full moon. That's the time of abundance. So that's when you cast your spells for increase. Same thing with the time of the year. You want to look at winter as the new moon, and as spring starts, coming along, you want to start casting spells of increase, and then summer is big change. A lot of power. Same thing with the full moon, and then fall is decrease. Same thing with the last quarter of the moon, and then you've got your winter, which for new moon rituals, it's banishment, um, learning new things, and for winter it's kind of the same thing. Uh, you know, divination, learning new things. Again, that's if you take the phases of the year and the phases of the moon into perspective when you're casting your spells. Not everybody has that, like I said. All right, so of course, color is green. Green, 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 everything green. There are a couple of exceptions to that. Like, for instance, gold is really, really good for attracting prosperity because, well, it's gold. Pyrite, fool's gold, can be the same thing. Hematite, same thing. And obviously, gold, pyrite are gold colored. Hematite is kind of a silverish, blackish color. Another thing, too, for the most part, when I'm going through these herbs and stones and stuff like that, I'm going to give you the ones that are most common. I'm not going to have you expect you to go to the New Age shop and go get ylang ylang or anything along those lines. I'm also going to give you the common names for them. I'm going to give you bay leaf and cinnamon, not eye of newt and all the other fun things that pagans used to use back in the day to hide what they were doing. So common names, more commonly found herbs. Some of these you can just go to the grocery store. Now, is that the best method for getting herbs? Yeah. If it's what you've got, it's what you've got. Granted, it's better to use fresher herbs. If you've got basil sitting around the house, if you've got mint growing in your garden, obviously that's all better than going to the grocery store and buying packaged mint or basil, stuff like that. But again, it is a method. Going to the grocery store is a way. I mean, my favorite way to get cinnamon is going to the grocery store and getting the bark or the cinnamon rolls that you can get from the grocery store, generally in like the Hispanic aisles. It's a really good way to do it. Also, you can do the same thing with bay leaves. Whole bay leaves packaged in the Hispanic section. And it works great. Again, if you have access to fresh, use that. So we're going to go over herbs, stones, symbols, energies, and stuff like that. Your need for prosperity and stability is what drove you to do this spell. Later, we're going to cover, in another video, I'm going to cover preparation for doing spells and stuff like that to shed negative energy, ground center, stuff like that. That's not what we're covering here. We're just going to cover the basis and how to build the spell. So, the herbs that I most commonly use and are the easiest to find are patchouli. You can, at most New Age shops, you can find patchouli oil, patchouli incense, all of those things. It's really great. Attracts, prosperity. Cinnamon, again, you can use it as incense, oil. Be careful of the oil. Many, many different methods. Comfrey, pecans, bay leaf, basil, and mint. Again, my focus is trying to use herbs that you can attain relatively easily. I'm going to be honest. I'm assuming that most of us that need employment or prosperity really don't have a whole lot to spend on spell components, just being honest. So those are the herbs that primarily are associated with prosperity that are easy to get, that I would recommend, stuff like that. Are there others? Of course there's others. There's many, many others from all around the world. Again, if you know of others, use it. If you have access to others, use that. Most people don't. So again, patchouli, cinnamon, comfrey, pecans, bay leaf, basil, mint. Those are probably the 7 easiest, most effective ones. So let's move on to stones. Stones are a little bit different than herbs, because herbs you can use as incense, you can use as oils. Very good method that I've seen with herbs is you can put a drop of patchouli oil in your wallet, which obviously is a great method. Um, Stones, on the other hand, are a little bit easier. If you wanted to carry around a aventurine ring, no one's going to bat an eye, or a pendant or anything like that. So that's another thing to take into consideration, and you can include that in a spell as well. So the stones that I recommend, again, some of these you can get out in the world. Some of them you can get at pretty much any New Age shop or gem shop. One of my favorite places to go used to be a science shop in the mall, and they had quartz, they had aventurine, malachite, citrine, stuff like that. It was a great resource. And again, use the resources you have available. So the stones that I recommend are green aventurine, citrine, malachite, green jade, agate, or agate, however you pronounce it, garnet, and peridot. Again, if you have access to, are there others? Yes. If you have access to them, use them. These are just the ones that I found the easiest to find. Even if you find them at a New Age shop, they're not real expensive. So, that's definitely something to go by. So let's get in, and there are many, many different symbols. I'll go ahead and post them here. You can, I'll be honest, you can do a Google search, look up prosperity symbols, good luck symbols, money symbols, and get a wide variety of them. Again, I'm going to tell you, make sure you know what it is you're using. Right now, for instance, using the symbol for the Russian ruble might not be the greatest idea, since the Russian ruble isn't really doing that great. And that's another thing as well. You can, just because innately, you can use just the symbol for money, or the symbol for the pound, or the symbol for the yen, if that is what you're used to. One spell that I like is just take a piece of paper in the shape of a dollar bill, or something that'll fit in your wallet real well. Write the symbol for your money, and write a bunch of them. And you could possibly put a little bit of patchouli oil on that if you want, and put that in your wallet. So that is going by the basis of like makes like. You want, that's when you do that, that's representing money. You're putting it in your wallet. You want more money to come to your wallet. So again, now what I'm going to do is a very simple 3-part spell. Hey guys, doing an edit here because I did explain the spell. Didn't like the way it turned out, so I'm redoing it. Okay, so here's the spell. It's not overly complicated, but it can be more complicated if you want it to be. First thing you're going to do is you're going to gather all the things. You're going to need 1 or more green candles, some type of incense, whatever type of prosperity incense that you want. I always recommend patchouli for this because it's easy to find and it works really well. Then you're going to grab all the herbs, all the stones. You can, like I said, you can pick from the list that I gave you, or you can find your own. Once again, it is for prosperity, so you want to make sure they match that. Okay, so at this point, you're going to take all the herbs, all the stones. You can take a piece of paper, write, a prosperity symbol, write a couple of symbols for different monetary values, the yen, dollar, what have you. Put all of it inside. If you are doing a piece of paper with either the monetary symbol or prosperity, one thing that you can do is do it on a longer piece of paper, thin longer piece of paper. Put a bunch of prosperity or monetary symbols. Dab a little bit of essential oil for prosperity, such as patchouli, cinnamon. Again, be careful with the cinnamon oil. Comfrey, basil, mint, what have you. Just put a drop of it on the little piece of paper, and then you can roll it up and put it inside. You also need a green sachet, or a little green pouch, which is basically what we're going to be putting everything inside of. So again, you've got your incense. Make sure it matches what you're doing. You got your green bag. Got your green candles. And you've got all the things that you're going to put in your sachet, mojo bag, whatever it is you want to call it. From this point forward, I'm just going to call it a sachet for simplicity's sake. Okay, so take all the things, put them in the sachet, make it tight. Now, you're going to light your incense. You're going to take your sachet, you're going to pass it back and forth over the incense, getting all of that smoke, the smells, the energy in there, mix it all together. Now, with that done, you're actually going to start the verbal part of the spell. Again, I have one prepared for you. I'll go ahead and post it up in the corner. Put your sachet down, and then you're going to go to light the candle. As you do, these candles I light with my goals in sight. It is prosperity and stability I seek every hour, every day, every week. May the cosmos send its energy to me with my God and Goddess's blessing, so mote it be. Again, it's really simple, really direct. Generally, that's the way you want to do it. If it makes you feel better, read it a couple of times, say it out loud a couple of times before your spell so you have it down. And then, once you're done speaking the words, you're going to pick up that sachet. You're going to go ahead and hold the sachet, put all of the energy that you have, all the need, all the want, the need for stability, the want for a new job, all of that. You're going to put all of that energy into the sachet. Let the candles burn out, releasing all of that energy. And every single time you go to do anything regarding getting a job or prosperity or what have you, you're going to take that sachet with you. Take it with you during job interviews, when you're going in for promotion, when you're applying for jobs. I realize that nowadays, most of the time that you're applying for jobs is online, but have it on your desk. Have it with you when you're doing so. This spell doesn't necessarily require a circle. I generally, when doing spells, cast a circle though to contain all of that energy, so that way you have it ready for the spell itself. So that's pretty much it. Let the candles burn out, let them go, and carry that sachet with you every place you go. And you know what, every morning when you pick it up, or afternoon or what have you, and you hold it, you're refreshing in your mind and what it is that you did, the spell that you did, the intent that you have. You're also recharging the stones and the energy inside the sachet to bring that additional energy to you. So that's it. Really simple, really easy, very effective prosperity spell. Again, there are more. If you find one that you like and works really well for you, go ahead and post it down in the comments. Share with the class. Make sure it's PG though. This is a family channel. Once again, I hope you enjoyed it. If you found anything that I said useful, you'd like to see more, like, subscribe, always appreciated. If nothing else, it tells me that someone's out there watching. Once again, this is the Normal Wiccan saying adieu. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay happy, and be yourself.